What's up, guys? Welcome back to Winner Stays On. And today we're not doing a podcast, we're actually doing a tier list. And we're going to be doing a tier list on ranking the best sporting events there are in sports. I mean, all international sports. You go from the Olympics, World Cup, U.S. sports. We'll be doing a tier list on that.
Yeah, it'll be tough because obviously every single thing we're gonna be ranking here is the best thing in its own sport.
Yeah,
pretty
so
much.
if you see us put something in D tier, it's not because we don't like it.
It's not because it's a D tier sporting event. It's just what we would watch. I think is what we're gonna.
And this
rank it on.
this is personal preference.
Personal preference. So we're not. If we put the World Series in the S tier, doesn't mean we're saying it's the best thing ever. It's just what we tend to watch the most, I think. So, you want to get started?
Yeah, first one's World Cup, and I think
start off with a banger. An absolute banger.
I think
that's
this probably is the best sporting event in the world.
Yeah, I think from a world's perspective, it's the best sporting event because literally every single country in the world is tuning into this. It's once every 4 years too, so it's not there's next year.
The anticipation
you have to wait, and there's
insane.
not a lot of games either. Each game is maximum importance. So yeah, S tier for sure. The World Cup.
Next is the Olympics. Now the Olympics, I mean, it's
that's also
some
every
people
4
could say
years.
it's on the level of the S tier, but I don't think us personally is as high as the World Cup, at least for me.
I'm not as excited as the Olympics as I am about the World Cup. I think the World Cup is probably the top for me, but I think it's an A tier.
I would agree.
Only because it's once every 4 years. So I'm tuning into it every 4ur years.
For sure.
The anticipation's not as much as the World Cup, I would say.
That's exactly what I would say.
Okay, next up is the Tour de France. To be honest, I don't really watch this. It's a great thing, but yeah, it's going to be D tier.
It's going to be D tier. I mean, I know it's super popular. It's a very long event. I mean, I think it's over the span of a couple weeks, but I've never really tuned into it. But I had to throw it on here. At least it's on here, showing respect to it.
Yeah, it's going to be on there because it's still one of the premier biking sporting events. It's just a premier sporting event. But in terms of anticipation and watchability, I don't really want to watch someone bike for hours on end. Yeah. It's still a great event though. So next up is the Masters. Now the Masters is a really, 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 really tough one because
it's one
of my favorite things to watch.
It's every year, so it's not as I would say anticipating.
At this point though, everything we're gonna be picking is every year.
You're right.
So it's either A tier or S tier for me.
The same. I think I put it S tier.
You think?
Because the Masters weekend. I mean, you're glued to your TV the whole weekend. It's one of the best times of the year.
CBS broadcast is fantastic.
Everything about
I'm
it.
I'm down for S tier. It's up there.
By far the best golfing tournament of the year.
Okay, so the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl's next. The Super Bowl.
The Super Bowl's kind of lost it for me the last couple of years. I don't think it's as It's still a great night. I mean, there's a lot of prop bets you can do on it. You always have your Super Bowl parties.
Of sports betting and parties. Yeah, it's the king.
I mean, I'm putting it either B tier or A tier.
Yeah, I'm gonna say B tier just for
that.
some.
I think it is it is the average, maybe a little above average, just major sporting event. It's every year. You have a great time watching it, but it's also only one day. A lot of these on here are
I watch
series
it every year. It's one game. I watch it every year. It's one of my favorite. All these are my favorite things to watch. So I'm not the Super Bowl. I'd rather watch the Olympics than the Super Bowl. I think the Olympics, for the anticipation, I get a little more amped up. Unless my team's in the Super Bowl, obviously.
Oh, for sure. I mean, my team's in the Super Bowl. It's S tier.
Oh, yeah. Moving on to the Wimbledon. My immediate thought is C tier, and here's why. I will watch it more than the Tour de France. I have watched it before. It's a good tournament. I like that they wear all white. It's kind of like a traditional thing like the Masters. It's more of a traditional tournament. But I am not going to watch it over the Super Bowl. I'm not going to watch it over any of the things in the S and A tier. So for me, it goes in the C tier.
I agree with you. Kentucky Derby. I think it matches in the C tier.
I think it's going to go in the C tier as well. It's the only thing I watch.
It's the only horse racing I watch, and sometimes I'm
again, a lot of tradition. The Kentucky Derby doesn't really market itself to young, adults and teenagers. So it's not the most exciting thing.
Going in, you're not gonna
star power.
You're not gonna know anyone in it. You're just oh, I gotta watch it because everyone else is watching it.
It's really short too. So yeah, C tier for me. NBA Finals.
I think it's on the level of the Super Bowl. I can't really put it above the Super. I mean, maybe the series factor makes it better.
It's tough. I think because basketball is my favorite sport to watch, I would personally put it in the A tier. Although the past couple of years I haven't been watching it as much.
I mean, I think if this is NBA playoffs, this is specifically finals.
That's so hard. I rank it over the Super Bowl, in my opinion. But I don't know if I rank it over the Olympics. So I don't know if it's A or B. It's really close.
I think given the fact it's a series, I think we throw it in.
Okay, throw it in A.
I think we could throw it in A.
We'll throw it in.
We'll throw it in A. But that's in this area.
The four major sports, it's the most exciting finals thing to watch. Although the World Series, which is coming up, the World Series is really
up there.
Really good too. The World Series, I might put at the top of B.
I would
just
agree.
Because I will be watching it, but I'm the NBA Finals, just the moments in the NBA Finals, blocked by James, all those MJ. The World Series, yes, there are some great moments, like the Cubs series in 2016. That was probably the best sporting event of the year. It's just baseball, I think, has some ways to go to be one of the top things to watch.
Mm-hmm.
So I like B tier.
Next, we have March Madness, and I think March Madness is an S tier thing.
An S tier.
It's either a high A or an S.
The collective thing, I would agree. I think it's an S tier.
I think literally just based on the fact that everyone's watching, you always make your brackets, so you're always watching. I think if you're ranking the first weekend, in my opinion, is the best part of March Madness. It's not even the Final Four. So
true, it's just the sheer amount of games. I feel you could take it the whole collective thing. I'll take the S tier. And if it's just the March Madness finals, that would be lower. But the upsets, everything.
That's
S tier.
Champions
Is this the whole thing or just the final?
This is going to be more of the final.
The final,
because the final is normally
the final is
the main thing.
So it's not on the level of the World Cup.
Mm-mm.
Let's just start there.
Personally, I would put it in B. But I know you're more of a soccer fan, so if you convince me, we could put it in A if you think that's where it should be.
Honestly, I am okay with B. This past year especially was with COVID, it's been a little down recently, but you've had so many great moments in the UEFA Champions League final and around the world. People love to watch it, but personally, it goes in the B tier. College football.
And this is also bowl season as a whole.
Okay,
so
this is bowl season.
This is kind of similar to March Madness, where you're including all the bowls.
Okay.
More like New Year's Six.
Yeah, I would put it in the B tier.
I would too.
I think it's gone solid, but let's just be honest. I would watch those 5 things above the college football.
It's starting to get a little more repetitive.
Yeah. Now, if they go to 8 teams or go to 16, it would probably be 8. Maybe it jumps up the list because that'd mean more variability in terms of teams, like you said. I don't know. Daytona 500.
Now, this is the pristine crown jewel of NASCAR. There's actually a lot of people tune in for it, but it is also a one time a year, so you have that anticipation. But I think it's either. I mean, we're NASCAR fans, so this is maybe a little biased, but maybe low B, high C.
I'd put it in the B.
I would put it in B.
I think I'd put it in the B. I'd put Indy 500 in the C though, because it is not close to the Daytona 500. Daytona 500, it's pack racing. It's probably the best race of the year.
For sure.
So yeah, it's shaping up to be pretty good. The Stanley Cup final now.
I actually of hockey I watch the Stanley Cup final. I don't watch regular hockey, but I'm always entertained by the Stanley Cup final.
Mm-hmm.
I find myself having fun watching it a lot, but I mean, it's hockey, so it's not as relevant to me.
Yeah, I would probably go. It's either gonna be. I'll put it in the B tier. I think it's although this is making me want to move either the World Series or the Super Bowl up one, because Stanley Cup.
These are just on different levels, I think.
I think we might need to move the World Series and the Super Bowl to A tier.
Because these are the three
major three finals. Everyone's going to tune into those. Yeah, I like that.
Those are personally our favorites, obviously. The Open going on right now.
Okay, it's obviously not Masters level. In my opinion, it's not quite on the world. Oh, that's so hard. Oh my gosh, so hard.
I can't say, given the fact that there are other golf tournaments out there, I don't think I can put it on the level of the Super Bowl or the Olympics. So,
B tier?
Said, I think it's a B tier.
I think it is too.
Now, I would watch it over the Stanley Cup and probably maybe even over the Champions League final, and that was probably the only two from that, but it's a B tier.
All right, the Ryder Cup, I'm thinking C tier.
Yeah, it's been a while since this happened, so
it's a really good tournament. Maybe after I watch it this year, it'll go up a little more, but I haven't seen it in a while. Last thing, College World Series.
This is maybe C, but it could also be D because
I might put it in the D. I really don't watch the College World Series. The Game 3 of the College World Series final, I just kind of followed along on my phone.
Yeah, I'll watch it if I see if my personal team makes it. I'll watch it, and then I'll always tune in and kind of have it on the background, but I'm not like all those ones in like B, A, and S tier. Like I'm planning my day around the fact that I'm gonna watch this later.
Yeah.
But College World Series, if it's on, I'll watch it. But I think it's a D tier.
I think it's
above
D-tier.
Tour de France. Though.
Yeah, Tour de France is last. So those are kind of our rankings for top sporting events. Kind of looking at it, anything I want to change? Personally, I don't think so. If anything, I would move the Champions League to A, but I think because it's a 90-minute game, it could be 120. It's just like there's not a lot built around it. I think that's a good quality list.
Yeah, comment if we missed anything. Like we could have added sporting events such as like the Euros, but I mean I think that's
we don't want to
pretty
get
much
too
the same
repetitive
as
with
the
each
final,
sport.
as the World Cup. But I mean this is our list. You can tell that we are American sports fans, but we love our international soccer, international just events in the Olympics. But comment down below if you think the list is right. Again, this is our personal preference, so you could have a different.
Comment below.
opinion
What do you
about it.
think? What do you agree with, and what do you disagree with?
And comment if you like the tier list. We'll probably have another tier list coming out, maybe on like sports rivalries coming out soon. But make sure to subscribe for that. And don't forget podcasts coming out Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Yes, sir. We will see y'all later. Thanks for watching. See you next time.